Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster, here to bring you some more Pokemon Go GBL battles. These battles are not mine. They were sent in by a good friend of mine. He is a fantastic streamer, a lot of fun to watch, and also has fabulous chest hair if you ever get the chance to see it. I'm talking about Yasser Elide. Yasser is a member of my Twitch faction, so we've seen some of his games before. But I haven't been able to play any games for the last couple of days. I'm still sitting at the #1 spot on the leaderboard, but I haven't played a single set. I'm just kind of waiting for the rest of the field to catch up a little so that I don't have to sit in queue for 45 minutes to play a single game. Because I don't know, I don't feel ready. But Yasser knew that I was kind of lacking games, so he was kind enough to send these in, and since I don't play Masters, and he apparently knows how to, I'm just going to catch these games that he sent in. He is running a team that is featuring Landorus Landorus Therian form, which is a pretty unusual pick. It's not like super common, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be very good against what people are seeing in the current meta. So, yeah, I'm going to see that. He has paired it up with a Lugia with Dragon Tail, Sky Attack, Aeroblast, and a Dialga that is running Iron Head and Thunder. So, from what I understand, because I haven't really played a bunch of it myself, Zacian has completely changed the game in Masters. Whereas for a long time, Masters mostly just revolved around Dialga by itself, around Dialga and Dialga counters, and Dialga counters. Zacian now is a new and very potent thing that you have to consider when you're building a team. So it's nice that the field is kind of spreading out, and there are more things to consider, more eligible Pokemon, more Pokemon that fall into the category of usable. So it's not just the same 15. Maybe now there's 20. Still not as diverse as the other cups, but I mean that's to be expected when the CP is so high. So this Landorus is running Earthquake and Superpower, which I don't know about that. It does make it a lot harder to deal with the flyers. Now, things like Yveltal and even like a Ho-Oh or a Lugia will kind of wall this Landorus. I definitely feel like it should be running Stone Edge. And I think the opponent probably assumed that he was running Stone Edge there and left before we got Stone Edged. So, yeah, that was fortunate. I mean, Earthquake will definitely be better against the Steels, but I don't know. Opening with Landorus, and now it has Stone Edge, so I guess it was just forgot to TM it the first time. That was probably the first set that it was being used. So against Giratina, obviously the superpower is resisted. Just going to go straight Stone Edge. Stone Edge is non-stab, and I mean, Earthquake sure would hit Giratina a lot harder. But I think Landorus would be forced to throw 2 moves anyway, so it's probably a little bit better to have Stone Edge, even in that scenario. Going to switch out to Dialga and is countered with a Melmetal. This is one of those times where when using Dialga as a safe swap can make a decent amount of sense to run it with Thunder instead of Draco Meteor. Just because it gives you a lot more play against an opposing Melmetal, because Melmetal is and always has been a pretty popular pick. Missing a couple of bubbles, but I don't think that will change anything. It's not like the 2 extra bubbles would have brought this Melmetal down into a range where Dialga can take out. Or at least not just by Dragon Breathing. Gonna reach the next Iron Head and gonna throw this. That should just barely KO, and it does. And Yasser manages to maintain swap. So, yeah, he left his Dialga very low, so the opponent won't be able to get a ton of farm. Actually brings in his own Dialga, so Landorus is going to be able to come in here and throw double Superpower. Superpower will hit for about like 60 to 70%, I think. And, yeah, even after this debuff, it should do about half. So just going to throw this next one and then switch out to Lugia to clear the debuff. Dialga will resist all of Lugia's charge moves. The opponent, very good counting, is going to throw here right before Lugia gets to the Aeroblast. But regardless of what it was, even if it was a Draco, Lugia would survive. So just going to throw this Aeroblast here after no shielding the Iron Head. No reason to shield it. And now Dialga is going to be able to get to another Iron Head. I think this will just barely not KO. like very, very close. And yeah, the Dragon Tail will go through and KO the Dialga. Now Giratina is going to come back out, farm down, and yeah, Landorus just needs to be able to reach a superpower. If this is an ominous wind, then he would survive, but I think the Shadow Claws that come after this might have KO'd anyway, so gonna have to shield regardless. The opponent gets the boost, and yeah, so now this, oh, Shadow Ball. Well, Shadow Ball would definitely have KO'd anyway. BM Shadow Ball, ominous wind would have been enough, but yeah, that's a GG to the opponent. All right, so another Giratina in the lead. Not sure if Yasuo's going to play this out the same way he did last time. Switches into Dialga to try to catch a Shadow Ball. And yeah, Giratina leaves with energy. So that is going to make it pretty dangerous for Lugia. And, I mean, pretty dangerous for Landorus also. Gonna throw the Iron Head against this Groudon. Gets the shield, so that is nice. And yeah, gonna no shield here. It would be really unusual for the Groudon to bait here. So yeah, not gonna shield and just gonna go straight Earthquake and take Dialga out. But like Groudon would be able to outpace or get to another Earthquake before Yasuo would be able to throw another Iron Head. So Groudon would be able to force its way into switch advantage regardless. I mean, unless Yasuo wanted to take it into the twos and the opponent went straight Earthquake, but you know, you never know. But it makes a lot more sense to just kind of bring in Lugia. Just going to Dragon Tail the whole way, and opponent is going to switch into a Mewtwo, so Yasuo is just going to throw this Aeroblast straight away. Still has 2 shields, and the opponent only has 1, so they don't really want to use their shield here, and the Aeroblast lands and is going to do devastating damage to this Mewtwo. This could be an Ice Beam or a Flamethrower or whatever, so maybe it would have been worth a shield. I guess could also have been a Shadow Ball. Regardless, going to let that go. I mean, Giratina does have a move loaded also, so yeah, it would also have been able to take out Lugia with that. Gonna shield this first move. Hopefully it's not an ominous wind bait, and it is. That is okay. As long as Giratina doesn't get the boost, it's not really that bad, but this Gira also isn't really down into Rock Slide range. Gonna let the second ominous wind go. And gonna toss out this Stone Edge, throwing it right away so the opponent is able to sneak in an extra Shadow Claw, so that is unfortunate. And yeah, the Stone Edge lands and does not do enough. Kind of got to shield this, because, I mean, Lugia is just in farm down range. Gonna switch out to Lugia here. Not quite able to get to the Sky Attack, but if they did, Giratina would farm him down, so I don't know, maybe this is preferable. Goes down to that, and yeah, no, the Groudon just reaches its Fire Punch a little bit too fast. It's gonna take Yasir's Landorus out, and yeah, that's a GG. No, the opponent played that really well. All right. Next up, Landorus against Zamazenta. So Zamazenta, another new addition to the meta. Standard set is Snarl with Close Combat and Crunch. So I guess here it's just going to go straight Crunch, assuming that's the normal move. I'm not even sure if it could, what else it can know. So yeah, Crunch goes through, does not debuff, but it's not going to make a difference because one more Crunch is going to take Landorus out anyway, and Leto going to go Superpower and then switch out to Dialga right away, and is met with a Lugia. So this is okay. If Dialga can land the Thunder, that will be a lot better. Gonna just throw that straight away. Opponent no shields, so at this point Dialga will be able to farm the whole way down and doesn't have to shield anything. Even if this is an Aeroblast, it won't quite KO. Like, it does a lot, and it does get pretty close, but, you know, as long as the Lugia wasn't able to sneak in, like, an entire... Boy, that was really close. That was closer than I thought. Sneak in an entire... what's that called? Sneak in an entire Dragon Tail, then it won't be able to get there. So yeah, gonna throw this Iron Head against Zamazenta, and gonna get snarled down, unfortunately. Landorus has a superpower, but Zamazenta, I think, will win CMP there, and the opponent switches into a Reshiram, so Yasir can kind of just go double Stone Edge here and take Reshiram out, and then Lugia will just kind of be able to wall Zamazenta anyway, because even though Crunch is super effective, it doesn't really do that much. Gonna switch into Lugia instead and save Landorus with a little bit of energy, which I guess this is safe also, because, I mean, you know, Zamazenta will have to throw energy to take out Lugia, obviously, and even then, like, one Crunch won't even be enough, so they're going to end up having to throw 2 Crunches, and that'll leave them energy drained. Landorus will be able to reach the superpower before Zamazenta is able to get to something. This Lugia already has an Aeroblast bank, so just gonna BM, throw the Aeroblast, survive the crunch, gets the debuff, but that is okay, and gonna land this Aeroblast and manage to take that game. GG. Nice, very nice. Alright, Landorus into Dialga. So this is, I mean, fine. Normally you would want to throw a superpower and then escape. The opponent instead switches in Zacian right away. And, I mean, play rough will hit the hardest here, and it does a lot because Landorus is pretty squishy. Not going to bait superpower, just going to go straight Stone Edge. 2 Stone Edges will take out Zacian regardless, and yeah, so he's able to get to this one before Zacian throws the next play rough. So probably going to get a shield here, and oh my gosh, they don't, they just let it go down. Okay, well, I guess we've won switch by not switching. And a Metagross comes out, so that is fine. Just going to throw this superpower. Hits for neutral. It won't do that much damage, but I mean, you know, chip damage is chip, and yeah, actually gets a shield instead, so that is fine. And now I'm going to bring Lugia in. I mean, I guess Dialga would resist the steel damage, but Earthquake would one-shot. Whereas Metagross will have to hit Lugia with just neutral moves. I mean, 2 Meteor Mashes is going to take them out anyway. I'm not sure if this is the most sensible thing to swap in, but Yasser maybe just knows more about this team and the way it's structured. We already saw Zacian in the front, so hopefully, I guess there's not a really hard counter to Dialga left over in the back. I'm not going to shield this either, and just going to bring Dialga in. Risky move, and yeah, the opponent brings in his own Dialga, and without Draco, there's not an amazing way to KO this Dialga, so I guess you're just going to go straight Iron Head, throw this, and then farm the rest of the way down, and yeah, try to land an Iron Head or perhaps a Thunder against the Melmetal, or against the, not the Melmetal, the Metagross. Gonna have to shield this. It is the Draco. Makes sense. You would only be able to get to 1 move regardless. Metagross is going to come back out, and yeah, not going to mess around trying to get to the Thunder. Just going to throw this Iron Head right away. Hopefully this KOs. I think it'll be really close, but is actually enough. And yeah, Yasser manages to come out on top of that game. GG. Lando into Dialga. This is pretty good for Landorus, although, I mean, the Dragon Breath damage is just really, really oppressive. Can't throw Superpower too early because then the Dragon Breaths will do even more, and they already do a lot. So I'm going to throw this Superpower here. I'm not sure if the opponent will try to make a catch or something. I see. Just going to throw their Iron Head right off the bat. That is going to force the shield out here. And now Yasser's just going to throw the next Superpower. This won't KO, but it will do a pretty hefty chunk. And now going to switch out to Zion Dialga to try to make a snipe. Met with a Groudon, so that's rough for Dialga, but going to be able to get this Iron Head out. Hits for neutral, it will do a healthy chunk of damage if they let it through, and the opponent decides to shield, and that's fine. I mean, if Yasser wants to force his way into switch advantage here, he could shield this, hoping that it's an Earthquake. But gonna save his shield instead and let it go down. Makes some sense. Now you can bring out Lugia and farm up a ton of energy. Because Groudon really doesn't have an amazing way of threatening Lugia anyway. Between Earthquake, being double resistant, and Fire Punch, which just doesn't hit neutral targets very hard. Yeah, this Groudon really just cannot hurt Lugia, and Lugia is going to farm up a ton of energy here. And yeah, the opponent is just going to resign the game. That's a GG. All right. Next up against Kevin V6, version 6. Landorus into Melmetal. Finally, a pretty good lead. Like, Melmetal obviously cannot throw cannot throw Superpower, so it's just going to be straight Rock Slide. It does, I mean, hits for neutral, does more than you would want it to do, I guess, for something that's not stab, not a super strong move, and not coming from, like, Melmetal doesn't even have, like, really high attack. Opponent swaps out, and yeah, manages to catch a Superpower on Giratina, so fantastic catch, but Yasser's going to be able to align his Dialga against this, so that is fine. Not going to throw anything, just going to farm the whole way down. No shielding this, and it's actually an Ominous Wind bait, so that is fine. Not sure if this can even be a Shadow Ball. Yasuo seems very confident that it isn't, just going for a straight no shield. So yeah, another Ominous Wind, and yeah, Giratina's going to go down. Dialga has a ton of energy. And with Thunder, it actually does have a way to hit Melmetal for neutral. So from this health, after these Dragon Breaths, if he's able to get this Iron Head off, it'll KO. Like, Yasuo could even shield this just to force a shield out if they wanted to KO the Dialga. But just going to let that go. Bring in Landorus, and maybe an aggressive farm down would be best here in this case. Going to shield this Rock Slide because we don't really know what's in back. And there is a Zacian back there, which has no fast move pressure, so this is actually fine. Yasuo's going to be able to throw this Stone Edge, and yeah, should, I guess, charge up a little bit more and then maybe swap out to try to catch something on Lugia. Nope, just going to switch to Lugia right away. Lugia's not going to be able to do any fast move damage here, but one Aeroblast will definitely KO. Taking hits from a Play Rough, hits for neutral, but it is going to take 3 of those to take Lugia out. If this Zacian had Wild Charge, this would obviously have been way worse of a situation, but going to be able to land this Aeroblast. Nearly takes them out, gets an attack boost, and yeah, now is probably just going to be able to Dragon Tail this Melmetal down. Opponent realizes that it's over, and that is a GG. Alright, next up against Phenom 99X. Landorus into Landorus Incarnate form. Okay. So the main difference between these two is that the Landorus Incarnate form has Rock Slide, and the Therian form that Yasuo is using has Stone Edge. So Rock Slide is going to come out a little bit faster. And unfortunately, because Landoruses are both pretty squishy, but not that squishy, 2 Stone Edges is going to KO just like 2 Rock Slides would KO. So I'm not going to shield this. I'm not sure if he survived this, just barely, and going to switch out and bank a move, switching into Dialga to try to farm down. Opponent is going to switch to his own Dialga after Yasuo is able to get a hefty energy lead. So just going to throw this Iron Head and see what the opponent wants to do. Like, he didn't build up enough to threaten a Draco yet. Yasuo's going to shield here and probably throw his Iron Head as soon as, or right before the opponent gets to theirs. So going to launch this here. This would KO if the opponent decides to no shield. And yeah, opponent no shields and lets that go down. And then a Giratina is in the back, which is going to farm this Dialga down and is going to make Gira pretty dangerous. Gonna bring in Landorus and just gonna throw this Stone Edge right away. That is gonna get the last shield almost definitely, and then I guess he's gonna switch into Lugia after that and just Dragon Tail. So this is rough. This Giratina has tons and tons of energy, so alright, they're just gonna go straight Shadow Ball, so good shield from Yasser. One Sky Attack would probably be enough to KO here, but yeah, Giratina's going to get to the Shadow Ball, and it just doesn't even do that much. The opponent transfers that onto their Landorus, which KOs it, and yeah, that is a GG. Not sure. I think that Landorus had actually swapped out and banked a move, so that maybe transferring that Dragon Tail wasn't the best idea in that situation. All right, Landorus against Ho-Oh. This should be pretty good because, you know, Stone Edge is going to be double super effective to Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is really, really tanky, but I mean, double super effective Stone Edge would probably KO anyway, but I don't really know. Regardless, the Incinerates have been hitting for neutral, and 4 of those has added up to quite a lot. So yeah, Yasuo's going to have to shield this Brave Bird anyway, and it is just 2 more Incinerates to get to the next one. Here he's baiting the superpower, which I'm not sure is necessary. Gonna have to shield this. Luckily the opponent shielded. If the opponent had no shielded, oh my gosh, that would have been terrible. That was a risky maneuver. I'm not sure if it was necessary. Lugia's gonna come in, and Yasuo's just going to throw this Stone Edge right away. It's gonna do a ton of damage even though he's debuffed himself. I guess that wasn't as much as it could have been. And then switch out to Dialga. Since he threw that first, Dialga is gonna be able to KO this Lugia by throwing an Iron Head. Gonna end up taking this Aeroblast anyway. Could have thrown the Thunder if he really wanted to avoid it. I think it was going for a farm down, but the Lugia got the attack boost, so that is kind of rough. Now we're gonna have to throw this Iron Head, And he's in farm down range for Ho-Oh, not able to reach another move. So this is a dangerous situation. The Ho-Oh has a lot of energy, so you can't, or actually, I don't even remember if this had that much energy. My gosh, what am I talking about? Yeah, I don't remember if this Ho-Oh had energy or not. But regardless, he decides to bring in Lugia instead of bringing in Landorus. Opponent is going to switch in Dialga, and yeah, Landorus is going to be brought in here. Going to throw this superpower, but I don't think this is going to KO. I think maybe he needed to stay in a little bit longer with Lugia. Decided to let himself go down there after that. So, I don't know. Maybe... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Rough situation. Gonna end up eating an Iron Head. Thankfully, the opponent didn't build up to a Thunder or doesn't have it. Ho is going to come back out, and Yasser is able to actually get to this Aeroblast. So I guess this was all very calculated, and he did everything right. And I don't know what I'm talking about, which is totally plausible. I don't really play Master League. So yeah, that's a GG. This is good casting. This is adequate casting. This casting is okay. At the bare minimum. It's fine. So, next up against 2D0828. Landorus into Giratina. There have been a lot of Giratina here that isn't really a fantastic lead for Landorus, but I mean, Yasuo's been winning a lot of these games, so I guess maybe it's fine. Gonna shield this first move. Probably will be the Shadow Ball. It's actually an Ominous Wind bait, so that's kind of rough. Gonna throw this Stone Edge here. And it will take one more Stone Edge to take them out. Yasuo's going to safe swap his Dialga anyway. Wouldn't have been able to go for a swap had too much health to snipe him. And yeah, the opponent meets him with an Excadrill, which is really, really rough for Dialga. Excadrill is kind of specialized. It's only really for beating Dialga. Not amazing against a lot of other Pokemon. But yeah, gonna take that out, and yeah, Yasha's gonna wait at a switch clock. It's dangerous to send anything here into Excadrill, really. I mean, Landorus obviously can superpower, and that will take them out. But leaving yourself debuffed and with no energy would have really been the best position. So yeah, Yasha's gonna build up a little bit more energy first, and now gonna throw the superpower. Really doubt the opponent's shields here, and they do not. They're just gonna bring Giratina back in. This Giratina hadn't thrown, so it has energy. And the opponent actually brought in a Ho-Oh instead, so now there's still a Giratina in the back with some energy. This is a kind of rough situation to be in. I don't think you can shield this because you're going to want to save your shields for Jira. This Brave Bird, it hurts a lot, but it doesn't kill. And maybe this Jira didn't have energy because they didn't throw something right away, and now we're going to throw a Sky Attack, and this would KO. And they let it go down, and a Ho-Oh comes back out. So, yeah. Gonna throw this Sky Attack here. And Ho-Oh's gonna throw in it one in more Incinerate, and now gonna throw this move. Kind of gotta shield this. The Brave Bird would obviously KO, and yeah, since Ho-Oh still has a shield, you're gonna have to get this shield first, and then maybe switch in Landorus to be able to get it to a move. But yeah, now that this Ho has debuffed himself, yeah, Landorus is able to get to the superpower, no problem, and this will definitely KO because, you know, Ho has already thrown his Brave Bird and lowered his defense. So yeah, that's GG. Nicely played. All right, Landorus against Dialga. Mostly positive lead. Opponent gonna safe swap a Mewtwo right away, and that's, I don't know what you do against this. Like Mewtwo, a lot of Mewtwo's now are running Ice Beam and Psystrike. I think Ice Beam, Psystrike is the normal set when you're using Mewtwo as a safe swap, because otherwise you get kind of walled by a Yveltal. So gonna bait Superpower, gets a shield anyway, because I mean Mewtwo is kind of squishy, so it makes some sense. And now gonna switch out to Lugia. Not gonna shield this first move. Probably gonna be an Ice Beam, and it is. One more Ice Beam will be able to KO, so gonna throw the Sky Attack here. I think this just barely doesn't KO. And yeah, it just barely doesn't KO. This Mewtwo should be able to get to another Ice Beam. Like, that is what I assume this is. Yasha's going to no shield anyway. And give up Switch. So I guess that is fine. Going to bring Landorus in and farm. And there's a Kyogre in the back. So Switch would have been nice, but this isn't over by any means. Like, going to be able to throw the Superpower, which does a nice chunk, and then switch out to Dialga. This Kyogre, it switches out right away, but it is down to half health. So one you know, superpower, if it's not debuffed, will be able to take them out along with those mud shots. Gonna no shield this Iron Head. And wait until Dialga is really low so that Kyogre doesn't get a ton of farm. And now going to undercharge this Iron Head. I mean, I feel like you could just take out the Dialga and then, you know, double superpower with... But I don't know. The opponent is not attacking because he doesn't want Landorus to get any farm either. So maybe he knows something that I don't. But that gives Yasir's Dialga an entire Iron Head. So going to be able to throw this. And that is going to, you know, do a ton of chip damage to this Kyogre. Now going to switch into Landorus and just going to have to reach double superpower. And that'll be able to take them out. One away still, so I don't know if lowering your defense here is the thing that you want to do, but just barely able to survive the Surf. I guess Yasir just knows this matchup really, really well. And yeah, able to land that superpower, and that is a GG. So yeah, manages to take that game also. So yeah, strong finish there on this 5-0 set. And goes up to 29.90, so almost back up at Legend. And that is the last game. So, yeah. So there we go. All right. Thank you very much, Yasir, for those games. Really enjoyed casting them. Nice to see a little bit of Master League because I don't play it myself. So, yeah, it definitely helps to keep me informed when I watch someone else's gameplay, trying to figure out what their mindset was and what they were going through when they made the decisions that they made. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to do the things you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. You know you're supposed to do the things, so please do the things. I will see you guys on the next one.